in my time, this is an unprecedented situation where we have federal funding that has conditions attached, and we've had very little time to talk to residents about the proposals and to have 4 units as of right for people to be able to build 4 units on any lot. 50-foot lot around the city, or 4-story developments close to where our major transit lines are. And so at the same time, what we're also learning, and just in the last week, is that this is not just going to be attached to federal funding for the Housing Accelerator Fund, but to any funding programs that are coming up.
Council votes against this tomorrow. What are the consequences? Like, will all this federal funding be gone? Is there any wiggle room? Like, what do we know about that?
We were hoping to get wiggle room in some discussions that were happening with the federal government last week.
Saskatoon, this is serious now. The mayor doesn't even know since just, a week now that there's extra conditions that were actually in place since early April when the budget was released. He's just figuring it out now. He's been doing all these negotiations, and yet he didn't know this whole time, and his whole team didn't know. They're not doing negotiations. And if they are, they're not competent enough to do them. They're risking the way that we live right now and our ability to afford to live here. We need to have control. We need to have engineering review, all things that Charlie Clark is not capable of doing. It's time that Charlie identifies that he's not in a good position to give any kind of leadership on this, and that they abstain for their votes tomorrow, and this gets stalled to the fall election. Simple as that. If you're not going to do your job properly, don't do it at all. Standing by.